Hey Morningstar, there's this brand new movie out that a lot of folks have been excited about for quite a while. The film version of the book, Heaven is for Real, and it chronicles the experience of this 4-year-old kid by the name of Colton Burpo. Now I haven't seen the movie, haven't even read the book, which was written by his father, a pastor in Nebraska. But we're told that during the months after his son Colton's emergency appendectomy surgery in 2003, Colton began describing events and people that seemed impossible for him to have seen or met. Examples include his miscarried sister, whom no one had told him about, his great-grandfather, who had died 30 years before Colton was born. Colton also claimed that he personally met Jesus riding a rainbow-colored horse and sat in Jesus' lap while the angels sang songs to him. He also says he saw Mary kneeling before the throne of God and at other times standing beside Jesus. Many have been positively moved and impacted by Colton's story in the book and now in the movie. Others have challenged it because of the inconsistencies it seems to have with the Bible. Things like the fact that no one in the Bible ever went to heaven and came back to tell us about it. And even Lazarus, who was dead for 4 days before Jesus raised him back to life, never claimed to have a heaven is for real experience. The only person who even gives us a glimpse of heaven other than Jesus is the Apostle John in the book of Revelation. And that's not even a near-death experience, but rather just a vision or revelation. Now, hey, listen, in the end, we could argue about the validity of Colton Burpo's testimony and never get really anywhere. And honestly, for me, it doesn't matter. The real testimony we should be talking about comes from Jesus and the disciples, if we're going to talk about is heaven for real. See, Jesus told us, right, that he was God's son, that he came from heaven. He came to this earth and was incarnate. He was God with skin on. He also rose from the grave when he died. He told his disciples that he was ascending to go back to heaven, and where he was, there they would be also. That those of us who believe in him would go to where Jesus was in heaven, and furthermore, that he himself was going to prepare a place for each and every one of us. Now, unless Jesus was either a liar or a lunatic, we have to believe him, right? And from what we read in Scripture and what we read about Jesus, even from sources outside the Bible, we have absolutely no reason to think that Jesus was a liar or a lunatic. So we should be able to trust what he says, that he came to heaven and that he was going to ascend back to heaven, that heaven was for real. But even if that isn't enough for some people, just to square it all on Jesus, then we also have the testimony of the disciples. Originally 12, Judas hangs himself. John, who's the guy who had the vision, the revelation of heaven, he died of natural causes of old age. But the other 10, they all died for the same reason. Lots of different ways, but for the same reason. Namely, the refusal to deny the fact that Jesus rose from the dead just as he said he would. See, when their lives were literally on the line, each of them were willing to give their life for the hope they had in the resurrection. Friends, that's commitment. See, it's one thing to give up something that would be completely gone forever. It's something totally different to give up something you had complete faith would be given back to you. See, they believed that if they gave up their life, if they were willing to die, they would have their life given back to them. If you didn't believe in the resurrection, no way would you be willing to die for that, right? So when I see the book and the movie title, Heaven is for Real, man, I couldn't agree more. But not because of the testimony recently of a 4-year-old boy, but instead because of the 2,000-year testimony of firsthand witnesses, people who were willing to literally die because they completely trusted in Jesus' promise that heaven is indeed for real. Hey, Morningstar, I invite you to be the church this week. Bring heaven from up there to down here, and I'll see you in worship this weekend. God bless you.